Listen, are you a business owner? Are you being warped by fear? Is fear taking over your whole decision making in your business? We're going to break down the different types of fears and how you can overcome them in spite and still succeed. What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm Dr. Black Wealth.
Hi.
And we got
Miss Fab Financial.
I just came up with that whole intro right on the spot, y'all. I just want y'all to know.
In spite of fear. Was you fearful? Was you a little nervous?
A little,
you did it. You got
a little
do
shaky.
It.
I almost choked.
That's right. In spite of, you still gotta keep moving.
Oh my goodness. So fear, I mean, you know, it's a thing.
It definitely is.
It's a big thing.
It definitely is.
So,
fear is the thing that if not corralled and harnessed the right way, could have you in a crippling moment where you do nothing. It could paralyze you. It could cause you to have so much self-doubt, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. Fear can take a hold of you that make you even question why you even exist. Fear is a thing, that an emotion, because you can't see it. It's a non-tangible construct in our mind that handicaps us. And if not harnessed the right way, if not moving it to the side, if not having something else to counteract the fear, you will be stuck. You will be stuck, almost like sinking sand. And so because we all have fears, how do you press the play button and you're stuck? How do you keep going in the midst of the sinking sand? How do you keep going when you're in a cloudy room and you got to find the light? How do you keep pressing out of that? How do you tell fear to get behind me? We'll try to answer that for y'all. We'll try to see what we could come up with. But
that thing heavy, boy. That thing heavy. Fear.
And to me, one little quick thing to counteract something as strong as fear is faith. You got to have more faith than fear to help pull you out of the sunken place.
All right, so I didn't intend to do this, but when you talk about fear, I got to break down two things. Sometimes I feel fear can be it's an energy that also is inherited. And I think that sometimes without us knowing, we put fear in us, or fear is put in us without us realizing what's really being, and that starts really early.
For sure. It's different types of fear. Because when you said inherited fear, I'm with you. I think generationally, Black Americans live in almost a post-traumatic stress of slavery. There is a certain amount of fear there, for sure.
There's a whole lot of fear in there. And when you look at, you know, you can say like, hey, Black people didn't do this. But when you look at them histories, our real history in America, I'm not talking pre-America. I'm talking America, right? Mm-hmm. That is not talked about. Black people accomplished and did a lot of stuff in spite of all obstacles.
Absolutely.
And I think that inherited fear keeps us from doing it again. And somebody probably just said, you talking crazy. But you can tell when it's there when you hear stuff like, they ain't gonna never let us in there.
No, for sure. That's just how it is.
That's just what it is.
Right? That's just how it is.
That's that fear of that's that inherited fear of not even getting started. And then when you talk about most people say, so I heard Will Smith say, this must be a Will Smith day. I heard Will Smith say like fear is the thief of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so he was like, fear being the thief of your dreams, you have to learn to like get in bed with fear where you can see it, it's right next to you, but
you gotta have your your faith got to be stronger that when we tussle with fear, I win.
Right.
Because I can't let you hold me down. It's like an imaginary rope holding your leg every time you trying to. You gotta say, okay, rope, but I gotta now drag it and move it, and we gonna tussle. We gonna fight up in here, but my faith will win this thing because I believe in me and I believe in my God more than I'm fearful of what's not gonna happen or what could happen. That's gonna get me out of bed. That's gonna get me to go forward with this business. That's gonna ask this woman or man to marry me. Whatever you're fearful of, whatever energy or contraption you done swirled around in your brain.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have the strong enough faith to counter it. Almost like a 1-2 punch. Whatever fear bring, your faith got to come back with the 1-2 punch.
So I'm so logical with it because I have that. I have had that and still have it because I don't think fear goes away. Like, just off pure,
I think you
I
overcome.
believe it. I think over time,
I think you overcome some fears once you faced it. And then here's another situation.
For sure, because it's another fear. It's another thing to be fearful. So in me saying that, I'm saying we have to get comfortable with identifying. We have to get comfortable with identifying fears, like down to its root level. So it was something you said about faith that made me think about the building blocks of faith.
Right.
Right. But before I do that, so I went to a CFO conference I just went to in May. And so that was one of the subjects we talked about was fear. And so we identified the 4 different types of fears: the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of rejection, and the fear of uncertainty.
Right.
And I think I wrote something, not that I think, I'm looking at it. I wrote something on every one of the fears and how it relates to me. But when people say, I just got tired of people saying like, you just got to do it anyway. But I'm like, I really don't understand what that means without me. This is just me. I'm talking about me.
For sure.
Anybody who can relate to somebody like me. Without me identifying the fear itself, I had to define it. Mm-hmm. Like, my fear of success comes from what?
Yeah.
Or I seen this in my family. I've been in close proximity around this.
Yeah.
Fear of rejection because I've made it to success in different places and I seen the attack on my success.
Right.
So after I became successful, it was rejected. The fear of uncertainty. I've never seen the other side of this. So for me, I can't really judge if what I'm doing is right or wrong or indifferent or what's going to happen. And it leads into the fear of success. What's going to happen? Who would I be when I become what I feel is successful that's in a better place than where I'm at now? And so I had to really like define those for me.
Right. For
me to say, to give what I defined it another objection, but a positive objection. Oh, okay, well, fear of success. Well, if I don't get successful, then I'm still in the same spot. So I'm a fear of something that I never tried to even obtain. And then rejection. Well, I mean, I know everybody hear it, but you have to really like conceptualize it. Yeah, everybody ain't like Jesus, and he was here for a specific mission to serve a specific purpose. And some would say in his specific period of time, he was successful at doing what he came here to do.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not going to always be
and he
like
still battled with fear.
Still battled with fear. Right. And so when I think about when you say the word faith, right, I think that faith is, from a biblical definition of it, right, the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. We're still in an uncertainty arena here.
Right, but I think when you talk about faith, then you need to be certain. That's the counter to fear. The fear is the unknown. That's what you're afraid of.
For sure.
You don't know what the end is going to look like.
For sure.
But the faith goes, I know God got me.
Right.
Right? Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans he has for me.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah.
my faith is my 1-2 punch for my fear.
For sure.
So I know, I might not know the details.
Yeah.
But I know God has got something for me. So I don't need to know why I'm fearful. For me, the type of person I am. I don't need to know why I'm fearful.
Right.
I just know whatever this is, this knot, this stutter step, the stop, whatever that is, I need to go.
Yeah.
I need to not stop and go because I know that God is not the creator of fear.
Right.
So if I'm fearful, I need to move beyond that.
Yeah.
That is not of God. So I need to then move fast and swift out of whatever this is because it's not of God for me. I don't even know why I'm fearful. I might figure out it later. Like, oh, dang, I know why I barricaded myself in my office. I was fearful. I needed to know I needed to pull this shit down.
Right.
That's not of God.
You just got the will to just do it anyway.
I got the will to do it because I know God got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm fearful,
Yeah.
I know it's darkness and God is light. So I need to come out of the dark.
Right.
I need to come out of the fear.
Yeah.
And it may take me a few to get it, to go, why you not doing that, Farrah? What's happening? You got to move.
Yeah.
And so that's my 1-2 punch for fear.
For sure.
So
that's really I don't use the right word, but that's commendable. Because most people can't do that.
because I don't like the discomfort of the gray area for me. I don't like the in between.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to sit long enough to try to figure out the why. I will figure that out on the other side. All I know is I'm in discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And between the faith and the fear, I'm discomfort. So I'm gonna move out of the fear as fast as I can because I don't like this this gray area. And so I need to move to the other side as fast as possible. And I'll look back and go, wow, okay, now what happened there? So I don't go back there again. But I need to get out of it. And me, it's moving. It's moving forward. It's motion. It's because God is not stagnant. God is a creator. He builds, he produces, he manifests. So for me, that's movement. That's like life for me, how I connect it in my brain. So because fear is still, fear is motionless. Fear is darkness, how I connect it. So if I'm still,
I think fear got some motion to it.
And if I'm if I'm not moving, to me, that's because that's what fear does, though. It creates motionless. It creates you not to produce, right? And so, because chaos and I just connect fear and Satan together, and
that's one way to put it.
That's how I look at it. So if I'm fearful, I know that God didn't create that, so it must be him. It must be Satan because God didn't create that. That's how I look at it. So I want to move forward. So I think no matter how you look at it, and of course we always talk about being self-aware. Whether you are an analytical person or how you take action is understanding you.
Yeah.
And knowing that
you do.
Whatever this is, I got to either figure it out or I got to move and figure it out later.
So some of us could just persevere with fear being right there, right? All of us will have to. I think it's just a way that you kind of view the fear. And for me, I'm very much so like we got to be 90% figured out here before I make a move.
Because fear is also the resistance in things. Fear is the friction. It's the uncomfortable sometimes, and it's built on the not knowing. So when I think about perseverance and pushing through the fear, it is the pain. It's getting through that thing, right? So if you're a business owner and you are in a really uncomfortable position because you're like, do I double down and hire this person? Is my business successful? Should I even start said business, right? Some of that is doubt, which to me, the root of it is fear. You're fearful of the unknown. And so you lack the faith in you to press forward, right? In this example. So I think you need to, to overcome fear, is have the faith and the self-confidence that you're going to make it. And the worst thing that can happen is you fail, right? What is the worst thing? For me to overcome the fear is identify what is the worst thing that can happen. Long as it's not I'm going to die, I think you should try it. I think you should go ahead and do it. If you're not going to die, the worst thing...
me in jail.
What if it don't? I mean, you got to weigh your pros and cons. I mean, okay, so let's put jail on the table.
Cell block D.
Let's put jail on the table.
Lock up.
Jail and death. Okay, we'll put those on the table. If it results in jail or death, then don't do it. But if it doesn't result in jail or death, then go for it.
No, so I'm with you, and I'm with you because I think you did a really good job of, you explaining that and me knowing you, I can see that. Like, that's you. You know what I mean? I know it's just a lot of us. I know I just have a tribe of people who just like, it's still not enough. Because and I'm only saying that from my own experience. I've tried that. I tried to move past it and just be like, do it anyway.
Some people can't though. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's a tribe A and B.
Some people, that's what I'm saying. Some people can't. I'm speaking for the people who can't because I couldn't. And for me to do it now, I'm talking about the past 30 days, I really had to. So I think people underestimate the power of not having nothing, being broke. And when I really look at it, it was those times that I guess was the catalyst for where I'm at now. Because I'm very much so comfortable. I'm so comfortable where I can sit in the middle of the floor and there's fire all around me. And I won't move unless I understand where I'm at. And I have, not that I have to have absolute certainty, but I got to see some clarity somewhere for me to make a move. And I've noticed that without even realizing, I just had to reflect on myself to figure like, oh, this is me. So when you say like, what's the worst that can happen to you? I've already dealt with that trauma. The worst thing that can happen to me is what? I could stay broke. I'm already there. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm already there. It's already 6 of us, 2-bedroom apartment. We living on $2,000. I mean, I'm there. And for most of us, we are there. Even when we start our businesses, we might have that top line is looking real good, but by the time you get to the bottom line, you still back to where you was a couple years ago.
Even in terms of broke, it's like, well, I'll never be as broke as the brokest broke I've been, right? I just go, I gotta try it, and if it doesn't succeed, then I'll know what not to do next time. And anything that I do, right? I'm trying to teach my daughter how to ride a bike with no training wheels, and she fell off the bike, and
oh no.
That's the worst thing that can happen, though. She fell already, though. So now her level of fear is gone.
I still be just like,
you know what I
mean? Don't fall.
Her level of, I want you to fall.
Don't fall.
I probably pushed her a little bit so she could fall.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm calling the people. I'm coming to get little cuz.
She not afraid.
I'm calling the people.
She fell. So she was like, oh, I fell. It's not as bad as I thought. I was so afraid to fall.
Look, I got the kids on the bike without them falling, and then they got to figure out how to stop. They be
oh, shoot. Don't talk about the stop. My daughter, Jesus, do we have time for a small
Oh no,
story?
with the feet. Oh no, don't
She
do
did it with her
Don't do
feet.
it. Oh my God,
She's
Flintstoning it out.
she did. That girl looked like somebody shot her toe, her big toe.
Oh my
The
God.
skin came back. It was bad. It was bad. But she
Oh my God.
strong as 10 men. That girl didn't cry. You talking about fearless? Woo! That baby girl ain't even cry. Do you hear me?
But see, that's what I talk
She
about.
kept it's fear. Because
At that
why?
early
I had
age.
already pushed her off. She already fell.
She already failed.
She already fell.
That was the worst thing
That
that
was the
could
worst thing that could happen.
happen. Yeah.
And then she
toe's not a
scraped the big
deal.
toe. And she was like, oh, I'm built. I good. Now she riding her bike.
Overcame 2
No
obstacles.
fear. She jumped on that bike and it was like,
Gone.
done. I said,
Overcoming fear.
overcoming
But see,
fear.
that's where you. So when I defined the fear, I said, okay, this is why I'm fearful. And I listed it out. I'm like, this is why I'm fearful. I still got to put it on paper. I did it in my head. This is why I'm fearful. And I had an objection to what I felt the definition of all my fears was,
Yeah.
so that I can still because it's not going to go nowhere, but I have to build up the confidence to just check this off. I got to check this off. Boom, I made it.
Yeah.
Boom, I hit here. Okay, this person in the family made it here. Boom, I made it here. Now I'm going. So I'm comfortable with sitting in that fire. But when you look at faith, right, and say you got to do it, you just got to have the faith. But the root of that is even the fear. The fear was a distraction from what the real problem was, which was lack of belief.
Right. The fear kind of exasperates your insecurities.
Yeah.
Right. So the things that you're not 100% sure and fear kind of whispers in your ear
Yeah.
and heightens that. So all you hear are the doubt, the insecurities, the things that you may need to work on. There are things that are, it may be some truth there.
For sure.
But that's not the big picture of you.
At the foundation of the fear, like underneath the fear is the top of the iceberg. The belief is underneath the water. And so when I look at it and say, man, I just don't believe in myself, and these are the reasons why. Mm-hmm. But belief is the building block for me of faith. Mm-hmm. Because for you to do something in spite of or even during uncertainty, you have built up enough belief in you to say, like, this will work or it's going to work. This will happen or it's going to happen. I believe so much in this concept, in this vision, in this business. And is that vision, is that ambition big enough for you to build up the belief to continue to move it on?
But I think
to serve the other person.
But I do believe belief becomes stronger once you've had some wins. The belief comes after, to me, how I look at it. Because you could believe and believe and believe.
I see what you're saying.
But you need to have proven something to continue the belief.
I'm saying the belief helps you build the proof. Because I got to believe to start to get some good substance.
You got to have some wins.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You got the wins. You got the win.
But the way I see it, and I see what you're saying, I'm not saying you right or wrong. I'm just saying.
Will start to believe that they can win the championship if they win 2 games or 3 games.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? It'll just continue to grow stronger to go, I could do this. I could do this.
For sure.
You got to have a little in there. That mustard seed is there.
I get that.
But you got to.
And what I'm saying is I looked at it different. I had to understand that the more belief you have, the more you can recognize wins. Because I have some wins. It's not like you get what I'm saying? It's not like
some people don't win. It's like,
I mean, I ain't talking about them people. I don't know how to, E.T. said it. I can't explain it, but winners win. And that's just, so I'm saying there's a lot of people who have built up. It's almost like what Will Smith said, you just wake up and you got talent. So you will have wins, but still not recognize.
For sure.
Your golden jewel.
That is a win.
So many people are like, oh no, you good. No, you can really explain that. You're a really good teacher. You're a really good listener. You really speak well. You understand this. You can break. And I'm hearing it all the time, but it still wasn't enough for me to say like, I'm good at this.
Right.
Until I started to focus on my disbelief to build the belief. And then I bought into no, so now you will find me saying like, oh no, I'm good. And it's not for me to, let's just be clear.
He good.
It's not for me to be like
and toot your horn.
arrogant and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just that person. But it is to have that chip on me to say, no, it's for me to recognize that, no, I am good. When I come across, when I speak, when I say certain things, when we teaching, when we in our pocket, when I'm in my zone, I am good. Nobody's better than me than me.
That's right.
And I built that belief up. And so the belief helps me stay on target with the faith. And through that, I'm still yielded to my assignment to serve the people, right? But if I got a gift to serve, and then now I started thinking about, well, to combat the fear, well, what happens if I just don't do what I'm supposed to do? Think about the lives that I don't touch because I'm just being fearful
sure,
of not making it or not having the belief. You get what I'm saying? And so many people have built that around. I mean, I get it all the time, but you this, you that, you can do. And I still just didn't see it. And so for me, that's why I'm like, from a logical perspective, I tried to break it down. I had no choice because we were already in somewhat of a successful momentum. And I still had to break this down and almost like deal with the trauma so that I can see it, so that we can excel. And there are people who are good at what they do, and then have to turn around and deal with the root trauma of it. And there are some people like you who are just like, I'm gonna just pick it up, and we just gonna haul off, and we just gonna do the thing.
I'll deal with that shit later.
And deal with it later.
We're gonna work it out later.
And I ain't see,
and I'm gonna deal with it, but it's not right now.
It's just not
I ain't got time for it right now.
And I'm like, I've been.
You like, no, I need to dissect it and deal with it now for me to move.
I've been in a fire where I can sit around flames and literally see almost like every flame.
I'm jumping out over the fire.
I'm comfortable in that.
Get the extinguisher. I'm not sitting in the fire. No.
But these are two good examples these are two good examples of, at the root of it, being self-aware.
Absolutely.
You gotta be hyper intentional about you.
Yeah.
Because even in that faith, you know, like, I mean, I'm just really being real. I'm probably being real, what's the word, contradictory, but you know, you hear that, you know, you hear it in church, like, you know, faith is the size of a mustard seed, but ain't nobody really telling you like how I was able to connect it really was understanding that when people start speaking like, no, you were made in the image and likeness of God. You are a God. You don't hear stuff like that. So then when you hear stuff like that, you're like, well, God's creative. I'm creative. I just got to figure out what my creativity is to align in this world based off what is already in me. That's why I said fear is energy that's like inherited, because that stuff is transferable. When you look up, if somebody look up right now and you really take an assessment of your life, you about 1 to 3 degrees of what you've been seeing your whole life. My dad was a this, I'm probably a this. My dad did this, either you're doing the opposite of that, which is still a degree to the
right.
left.
It's inherited through so
think about those people who have breakthroughs.
No, for sure. And some of it, okay, you're talking about almost like a conditioning environmental and some fear that's inherited in us as Black people, right? Just through generational from slavery, right? On why most of us have a similar tendency not to do certain things through generational trauma, which is rooted in fear, right? Then you have like a conditioning from your family and upbringing, right? That also stokes a certain amount of fear. And so you've got to overcome two paths to be super successful in whatever you want to do. And both of them, to me, the root is faith. And how do you get out of that? Well, it is changing your environment to know that, hey, I don't have to be what I was, because my father's father were drunks, drug addicts, and criminals doesn't mean I have to be that, right? So that is mindset and moving out of that environment. And in that environment plus your faith, to me, allows you to break free from some of those initial handcuffs
Mm-hmm. No, for sure.
that allow you to then fully be in control of fear as it comes and goes through your life, depending on the levels that you will climb, right? Because fear will start to show up in different forms. You may have overcome the initial level. Yep, I started my business. I'm successful. I found the person of my dreams. I'm married. We have children. But how do I then build my team? I don't trust well. I can't connect with people. I'm just going to keep being a solopreneur. Well, that's fear. Why don't you trust? Why don't you put systems in place to bring other people in? Well, that's some fear. So then you have to overcome that level of fear. Okay, I brought in a team. I brought in people. I've trained. I've trusted to this level. Okay, well, now you also have to then remove yourself from the business. Replace you now. Bring in a CEO and you be advisory. Well, I'm fearful. How do I replace me? Am I not going to be worthy? I built my whole being over being the CEO of this company. Mm-hmm. That's who my identity is. Okay, well, how do I come out of that? I'm fearful of not being known outside of this, right? So fear comes in different layers. And once you've overcome those initial ones, I think, the inner self becomes more aware. You're able to overcome them a lot easier.
For sure. And that's why I said for me, the base of it was putting it in my face.
Yeah.
And so like when I look at that, most people might take it and be like, oh my God, you questioning, I don't know, your upbringing or this person or your dad and this and that. And I'm like, no, I mean, I am, but not in a like negative Nancy way.
For sure.
I'm curious because I have to sit with it. I come from these people. So a certain part of their characteristics, whether I want to admit it or not, is inside me.
But I think if you look at the characteristics in a negative way, I think that helps or keeps stoking the fear. And instead of taking the characteristics because the characteristics were needed sometimes at a particular time. Like I look at my upbringing, and I used to be resentful coming from a single mom. I used to be kind of like, why is this the thing here with me? This is how I looked at it. And then being 44, going through what I went through, I go, oh, I needed those characteristics, right? I needed those qualities to get me through this particular journey. If I didn't have that backpack, if I didn't have the cleats, if I didn't have, the skill sets, I wouldn't be able to climb this particular journey or mountain. I needed those. So I can probably shed those now once I've gotten the next mountain. I need new skill sets. I need new, characteristics that'll help me. So I think that those trauma, I don't know about trauma. I'm going to say trauma, but a lot of those.
It is traumatic.
Okay. I'll go with trauma.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that's a good point. The reason why I approach what I'm saying the way I do, because I think that you have to sit in front of it and you have to label it because the fear is not going to go anywhere. But the only thing that you can really do is get good at recognizing it. And then from the belief and the wins you have built, seeing that you can still do it anyway.
Yeah.
But using those people who the characteristics you come from, the type of people you came from, those are barriers and a good example of, because that's a lesson in there of
for
like
sure.
But
I think it only becomes a barrier if you label it as a barrier.
No. Hear what I'm saying.
And so you don't use it, you utilize it.
Right.
Don't
so
let
not
it.
Okay. Not a barrier in like I'm feeding the fear.
Okay.
But you have to recognize it in order to move past it. So I'm like at the root level, we got to deal with the trauma because it's going to continue to show up. When you start the business, you got fear around, are you even good enough? When I take an assessment of where I am, I just said I can sit in the fire. I'm like, it can't get no worse than us living how we living now.
Right.
Right. Then I take an assessment of, for me, I'm like, I want to understand how I'm even living how I'm living now. Where did this come from? Oh, mom did this. Dad was like this. We didn't have this. So it's not, so I'm not like, oh my God, let me, woe is me into that thing. But I'm recognizing these traits all these people have and the influence it has on me. So now I'm like, oh, this is where I don't have belief because I never seen somebody do this, or I've only seen them do this and make it here. This is what I'm dealing with. So now it's things like, oh my goodness, I see, oh, you're successful. Then it's the changing of the environment. But you got to recognize what it is that's keeping you from doing what you're trying to do so you can see the other thing so you can see the other possibilities. Most of us are not even seeing that. So now when I look at it and I say, oh man, he didn't do this. No, I'm not feeding onto this fear, but I have an objection. Boom. Well, I can do this. God showed me this. Oh no, I can do this.
Right.
All these people are saying, no, Tariq, you can do this. You good. You explain it how this. You
right.
good this, good that. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's because so now I see it. So now it's like, oh no, I done wrote it out.
Okay.
And outlined it. So now it's like, boom, let's go. So now when let's go is boom, we done built the business. We done hit this height. Now I'm at a point where for me to see the vision all the way through, I got to start removing me, becoming a real CEO. Now I got to hire people, but the fear still comes up. But now I know how to deal with it.
Okay.
It's not just like, hey, I'm moving and I'm not dealing with it. Because at some point it's going to either deal with you or you're going to have to deal with it.
No, for sure. But the logical part, you need to hire someone.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
The logical part of it. So for me, I got to hire somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I gotta justify it.
Yeah, I don't know, but
the fear of me, I'm like, I gotta give up my salary. I don't know if I really want to do this. Do I really want to grow this thing, or do I?
Right. So then fear, right, continues to work and manipulate your thought.
Right.
Right. To continue to stoke the doubt.
Yeah.
Right. And so when this one is easy.
Yeah.
You know you're supposed to hire someone.
Yeah.
Right.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Move. You don't need to sit in that fire because you know the result in that.
For sure.
Some things you might have to sit in. Some things are obvious. You just got to move.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think, but what happens is though, you get really good at recognizing those things and making the decision faster.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because at this point now I'm like, man, it's fear. Yes, it's fear in there.
Yeah.
But as fast as I thought about that, the thing that I said, the worst thing that can happen is I'll just still do this by myself. We making at least this with me doing it by myself. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what else could we do? So for me, it was just being able to recognize who I am, recognize myself, right? To understand where the fear is coming from. Because most people, when I hear it, all they say is, well, you just got to have faith. You just got to do it in spite of, or you just got to do it anyway.
You do.
And you do.
You do.
But for me to feel comfortable doing that, I had to recognize what it is, where it's coming from. So now when I see it, I can move faster.
Okay.
Oh, no, I see you. Boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I got good at doing that at an early age where I'm like, when I had nothing. That's why I say people underestimate the power of like, you not really having all the stuff you want. Because what's the worst that can happen? You're in the system. The worst thing that could possibly happen is you stay where you at. You might be, there ain't that many projects.
I said death or jail. If it ain't going to result in death or jail, then do it.
Right. But sometimes the cause might.
It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad.
It's not that bad.
You might think that being poor is bad, but you could be dead.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And
right?
I know it might sound
death
crazy.
The bad is the worst you could be.
And it might sound crazy to somebody who's in that position. You're like, no, you just talking. But when you really look at it, that's really what it is. I mean, the difference between you and me is this: I just decided earlier to do something different.
So grateful that God chose you today. He woke me up. I got breath in my lungs and sight in my eyes. I could be dead.
That's gratitude.
I could be dead. Yeah. I need to appreciate my life and get going.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow is not promised. I don't know when he gonna call me home. So do I need to be upset? Or should I go ahead and do it, get out of fear, because I could be dead? And
the biggest thing that helped me, like once you, especially if you like, hey, I'm successful, but I still have some fear. The biggest thing that helped me was it's not about me. So either I can sit in this and I don't help the people that I'm supposed to help.
God chose you. So
Or
make it
I
do what
can
it do.
overcome this to get to the people that I'm supposed to get to. And it might be by way of this, right? But that's what helped me rationalize it. Because it's like, either I'm going to help these people or I'm not. And if I don't, then I'm selfish because I let my own fears or anxiety or insecurities keep me from doing what I was supposed to be doing. And that's being selfish. And
a little ego and pride, because you think no one could do it the way you could do it. You know.
well, I mean, I see. Yeah, you got that. I didn't have that, but you got, but you definitely got that. And when I looked at it from a sense of detachment, because to grow something, you really have to. And that's what I'm saying. The power of that skill, because even to grow a business, you have to sit outside of this thing to work on this business
For sure.
for it to move the way it needs to move. And the old ancient Hindu concept was they believe, like, you know, everything is borrowed. If we spend our life as if it were truly a vacation, and think about it, on vacation, what do you get the flight, you rent the Airbnb or the hotel, right? You rent the car, you treat everything so delicately, and you're inside the moment of the vacation. And they was, if you just look at life like that, I'm on borrowed stuff. The car's not mine. The money's not even mine. The house ain't mine. The body ain't mine. And if I treat it like that, I'm going to be present in this moment at all times. And I'm going to be grateful for the things I'm able to borrow and utilize on this earth so that I could be successful. And most people who are successful, money is not the first thing that comes up. But for a lot of us who are broke, that's the first problem we got to solve.
For sure.
I think we explained
Fear.
I think we did it.
Did we? Did we explain fear, y'all?
I think
did
we
get
did
to
it.
fear? Were y'all able to get an understanding of fear, how to move through it, how to move past it, how to tackle it,
I
how
feel
to not
comfortable
let
we
it,
did
hold you down? And
Yeah.
you know, hopefully we did, right? We after you watch this, you've kind of got an idea what fear is, how you can just do it, or sit in it and figure it out, right? However you decide, you gotta move it. You gotta move it.
Either the mission is big enough for you to see outside yourself, or it's small enough to where you only see yourself.
That's right. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Minding Your Biz. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, guys.
Tell they friends.
Tell them not to be fearful, and come and like and share.
Yeah.
You know, don't be fearful.
And we'll see y'all
Just
next
do it.
week.
That's right.
Peace.